So Nick's major problem is I built his career along with Dick Masterson, but it was mostly me, if you don't know the truth. And I helped Dick Masterson out a lot too, if you also want to know the truth. But not that he needed it, but he got a big boost off his Killstream appearances. And that's fine because I got a big boost from him being here. We had a lot of good shows. But Nick Rekieta, without me and Dick Masterson, would be a nobody. He would be chasing ambulances in whatever shithole he lives in Minnesota. That's what he would be doing for a living. And now he's so busted and broken, he can't even do that. So his main problem is he genuinely thinks he's better than me. He probably is better than Mersh. I mean, that's not a very high bar. But look at his face. Look at his face. Look at the new look. What is this new look, bro? I said this yesterday. Why don't you just quit? Why are you doing this? You're never getting back to 50K. You're never getting back to 1K. So why are you here? This is my job. You don't even have to work. You know what? If I didn't have to work, I would still work just because, you want to have some type of, focus and hobby or whatever, but like you don't have to be here, but you're still here. And you know why you're still here? Aaron Imholte. That's why you're still here. Because you're obsessed. Because he nutted inside your wife multiple times. And there's all kinds of messages. And by God, I wish I would have let him share those. He begged me. Nick begged me in DMs. Don't let him share those. Don't let him share those. And I said, okay, give me the first interview. Now, the interview, that's true. Don't let him share those. No. It's Kayla professing her love for Aaron Imholte. That's my understanding, at least. Now, I could understand why he wouldn't want those shown, to be real with you. But Aaron, and he knows this, he f***ed me on the first interview. And so, I decided to him, right? Not literally. But, that's just how the game goes. But please, no, they're not involved. Don't let him show those. I'll give you the first interview. And he kept his word. But Aaron was going to show text on this show that proves that his wife, not Aaron's wife, Nick's wife loved Aaron. Loved him. Was in love with him. Everything, and again, I know some people are not going to like hearing this, and you don't have to like Imholte. But I have been struck like a thunderbolt. And I've made fun of the 187th radio market, whatever the Mersh has never been on any radio market ever. So we can say that. And I have been. I was just on the radio last week. But, and it was like the 55th ranked market. But still, it was AM though. It was AM. But still, I was all in on the Imholte hate. And part of it was the interview and then the stuff with my son. And I did have some chats with him. He said, bro, they had you dead to rights already. And they were trying to tie me into it. Like I put you up to it, which doesn't really why, but I believe what he told me. Now others can say that's a lie. They can say they don't believe it, whatever. I do. I believe it. So the more I've had a little dialogue with Imholte and Subpoena, I don't give a because we ain't said nothing illegal. Like you claimed I did, but I didn't. And what I said at the end of the show last night, I think he thought I was actually going to report him. I'm not a snitch, bro. Like I play a few games on Twitter. I'm not going to report you. I actually don't want him to take your kids. That's not what I'm about. Now I'm about people up online. I like doing that. But no, I don't want you to lose your kids. Even though, 6,000 nanograms and all that shit. That I defended you on for over a year. And now I'm like, he lied about the galaxy gas. He lied about this. He lied about that. What else might he have been lying about? That's a natural thought. So I'm still not going to say, I don't know. I will say I'm no longer 100,000% convinced that he did not give his daughter cocaine. I would put it at 50-50 actually. And most people, that's actually still being generous.
With that said, Ralph has his demons. He should fight them instead of trying to fight mine. Mine are a little more refined than him.
A little more refined? You mean like letting Aaron Imholte nut inside your wife repeatedly in front of your face? Is that a more refined habit? Like, I don't know. I'm not sure, but I would say no. But having your wife send Imholte text about how she's in love with him, is that more refined?
Well, and by the way, the person you're talking to who's probably put you up to this.
Now listen to this. Dude, he's so concerned with Imholte. Listen to this. He thinks Aaron Imholte put me up to this. He didn't. You put me up to this. Because you didn't. First off, you disrespected me for a year and a half. But that's another thing. That's not what really caused it. You just could not. You're too scared of Mersh. You're too scared of Melton. You're too scared of the Dabbleverse. Well, I ain't scared of none of these motherfuckers. Like I said, I've seen them come and I've seen them go, and I'm still here. And I'm always going to be here until I'm dead. All you had to do is, it's not even disassociate. Just say what they're doing is wrong. And I'm still friends with them, but what they're doing to Ralph, what they're trying to do to Ralph, what they're saying about his son, that's wrong. That's all you had to say. And you did say it in private, but you didn't have the nuts to say it in public because you're a pussy.
I don't think they want you to have your phone searched at CBP either.
Yeah, bro, I'm not worried about it. You're so stupid. This guy is on something. Like, there's no way. Galaxy Gas don't explain this. Like,
Because it might look like a violation of their probation. That would be really stupid. For
listen to what he says. He's talking about Imholte. He thinks Imholte put me up to this. I have talked to Imholte a little bit. I tried to get him on the show. And that's it. Imholte didn't get... Guys, and I'm not insulting Aaron with what I'm saying here. Imholte does not give me orders. Nobody gives me orders, and nobody ever has. Even when I should have listened to some advice and orders from my parents, I didn't. And so nobody tells me what to do ever. And Aaron Imholte, no. That's not an insult. That's just the truth. And he really sees Aaron Imholte behind every shadow. And it's like I said on Twitter, it's because every time he looks into his wife's eyes, the wife that bore him 5 children, he thinks about Aaron nutting inside her over and over and over and over and over again. He thinks about the texts she sent him about how in love she was with him. Allegedly, that's what he says. I haven't seen the text. How it was a real love affair. That's what he thinks about when he looks at his wife. And first off, that's exhibit A, why you don't do shit like this. But second off, yeah, I guess I can understand why you see Aaron Imholte every time you look at her, every time you look in the mirror. And it's got to be tough, but you just got to get over it. What are you doing? And this is genuine advice. I'll stop the ranting. Why are you here? What benefit is this to your family? He sees Aaron Imholte behind everything. Imholte had nothing to do with this at all. The first message he sent me after the Merch Festival, he was texting me during it. And during the reveal and this and that. And the next morning was, how much involvement? He literally sent me this. How much involvement did Imholte have with this? I said, none. And I told him the truth. I said, well, I tried to get him on the show. We were going to record something at first. And then it was decided by his advisors that wasn't the best play for him. And I told the truth. Exactly. I mean, I didn't copy and paste what we had said, but I told him exactly what happened. I said, he had nothing to do with this, Nick. You, and that fat TVS and Mersh and Ice Cracker, you picked the wrong side. And you may not see it now, but you're going to see it. And I'm not going to file a report. Why would I? You really believe that? God, these people are so dumb. Do you not know me at all? It's called trolling.
Anyway, that's about all I have to say on that subject. Oh, and by the way, the person you're talking to who's probably put you up to this, I don't think they want you to have your phone searched at CBP either.
Actually, I would share every single message I've ever had with Aaron Imholte. And I won't right now, but we've never had any type of discussions that would be improper in a legal sense at all. Ever. Now, that whole Google search history thing, turns out, and I'm not quoting Aaron, I've talked to several different people about that. It's my understanding that that was not a troll. That Nick Rekieta, it's my understanding and my belief that he did illegally access Aaron's Google account and his history and search history and all that. Now, at the time, I said, that's a troll. He's trolling you guys. Da, da, da. It wasn't, in my opinion. And I have a lot of good reason to say that. And I don't want to say too much, but the case ain't closed there, brother. And so you want to threaten me? You want to throw around shit? You better watch your own ass. Because they don't, you think you got away with one, and you did in Candy-Ojai County. But I don't believe that. And I have several different sources that say you illegally accessed his Google account, which is actually a federal crime, by the way. That's a real federal crime, Nick. You want to talk about federal crimes? You want to talk about criminality? That's criminal. And by God, I hope they lock your ass up for it. You. And you know why? It's not even because of this beef. It's because you lied to me. You played people for fools. You acted like it was a troll, and it wasn't. You lied to the people, and more importantly, you lied to me. So you want to talk about federal crimes? And I don't have any direct evidence on that. Be glad I don't, motherfucker, because I know I talk about no snitching, but be glad I don't. But he ain't the only one who should be worried about that either. There's a fat, failed comedian who should maybe also be thinking about what I'm saying right now. And I told somebody earlier today, sometimes it takes me a while to see the light. That's true. But when I see it, I bask in it. And I have seen the light. And I told him in DMs last night, I said, first off, don't ever threaten me again. Ever. Do not ever threaten me again. And then I said, I'm not a snitch. I'm not filing any report. My second piece of advice was to keep your mouth shut on Twitter. You're making people think there's more here. Now, this is legitimate. I shouldn't even give him that type of advice. Right? That was old me. I just snapped into, Nick, shut up. You're throwing around federal statutes that I didn't even break, and didn't say I ever broke and never would. You're threatening me with federal crimes? Okay, brother. I don't like that. But it's actually worse for you. They're not putting me in federal prison. I'm not going back to jail. You got 5 years of paper on your ass. I don't. And I know what it's like to be on paper. That's the criminal term for being on probation or parole. You got 5 long years. And does anybody in this chat think he's going to make it through those 5 years? And again, I'm not even wishing that on him, but I don't see it because he's obsessed with Imholte. He sees him behind every corner. It's my belief that they may end up getting him on that alleged illegal Google access. So you want to talk your shit? I'll talk my shit and what I know and who I've talked to, several different sources. So if I were you, I would stay the f up out of my shit, because I don't plan to stay the f out of your shit. But I would keep real quiet. I don't have any evidence of him doing that, by the way. He played it off as a troll to me. But I was told by several different people that wasn't a troll. And there is some there is all I'll say about violating confidence. And if you think that won't get you violated, technically, I guess maybe it happened before your sentencing, so maybe not, but it would probably f up your non-felon status that you're trying to get. So keep playing around. Keep throwing out federal statutes. Keep threatening me. Keep working with Mersh and Icecracker and Vickers and all these people. Keep doing that, because I'm going to be here. I'm going to survive. When the nuclear winter comes, it's going to be me, DSP, and the cockroaches. You're not built like that, son, boy.